Welcome to the Mind and Body Performance Podcast, the show where we explore what it really takes to level up your overall well-being. I'm your host, Jake Murphy, and today we're going to dive headfirst into the mind and why it's important to train the mind just as if it was a muscle. Remember, everything that I talk about on here is about my own personal experiences. You may agree with them, you may not, and that is totally okay. We're all just uniquely human, figuring it out as we go. I want to start off by sharing a little bit of a story of my childhood. Throughout my childhood, I was extremely overweight. I was short, chubby. I used to go to the doctor all the time, and they used to tell me how I was overweight, and my BMI was 25, 26, 27, 28. And I used to go home and I used to cry each and every time. And I was very self-conscious of the way that I looked. I would go look in the mirror. I would look at myself. I would call myself fat, disgusting, and just extremely rude to me. And I judged myself based on the way that I looked for such a long time. I was fortunate enough throughout my lifetime that my father, and I'm very fortunate to have a father like I had and have still today, is this idea and concept behind the man in the mirror. The man in the mirror is about not what you look like, it's about your character. And when you think about character, I'm reading a book right now, it's called On Character. And something that I'm learning from it is your convictions plus your actions equal your true character. So what that means is what we believe and what we say paired with the actions that we then carry out is the overall judgment of our true character. And so to go back into my childhood and how I kept looking at myself and feeling really upset with what I looked like, as I started to age, you start to understand that it's not really about what we look like. And I see this all the time. So many people I talk to, they focus on their looks. And being able to look at yourself and feel good is one thing. But we can't be judging our person and our self based on the way that we look. It needs to be based on who we are. The type of person we are, how kind we are to other people, how we respond to things. And just because someone's in really good shape or someone has a lot of money, that does not mean that they are healthy. I have an ex-girlfriend of mine who father was extremely wealthy. He was one of the most wealthiest men I've ever seen. Had a big house. If he wanted to order something, he would just get it. And that was it. Completely financially free. But mentally unstable. And used to take it out on both himself and people that were around him. So from an early age within my journey, I saw firsthand that just because you're wealthy does not mean you're healthy. And how important it is that we train the mind. We'll go into a little bit of my experience is when I first started my fitness journey, it was a lot about the way that I looked. I'd worked with a trainer at the time. His name was Robbie Fusco. And the goal was for me to put together a transformation photo for him to be able to put on a fitness magazine. And I worked really hard. And I was able to do it. And I felt really proud of how far I've come. And from the looks of it, I looked healthy. But what I know now, deep down inside, I was unhealthy in my mind. So just because somebody looks a certain way does not tell the full story of what's really going on up here. And that's why I see fitness models all the time that post on social media. They post themselves, they're smiling, they're portraying as if they're happy. But are they really? And you see this too. It's like a lot of couples, they'll post themselves on social media too. Meanwhile, you don't really know what's happening behind the scenes. This couple could be struggling really deeply, but yet they're posting as if they're extremely happy. Someone could be posting themselves on social media, but yet inside they're struggling internally. You don't know. And it's the hardest thing with the mind, is that whereas the body you can see, you could see muscle growth, you could see if somebody broke a bone. With the mind though, you can't see that. You can't see what's in here. It's hidden. And that's why it's really important that we, like a muscle, train the mind. And I think it first starts with honesty and willingness to go deep within yourself. I use this analogy. It's as if our brain is the ocean. There's so many unknowns up here, just like there's so many unknowns in the ocean. But imagine you went in the ocean and your goal was I'm going to swim to the bottom and touch the bottom of the ocean, and then I'm going to swim back up. If you did that, how good do you think you would feel when you came back up out of that water? I'm thinking right now, I feel like I'd be extremely refreshed, proud of myself, because I overcame a fear and uncertainty and hardship and challenge. And you have no idea what's over there. It's actually one of my biggest fears, is the ocean, because you have no idea what's underneath. But the mind is the same thing. We have no idea what's really inside. We can't see it. But being able to dive deep into the mind, like we dive into that ocean, and we keep swimming. And sometimes we might have thoughts, emotions, or triggers or different things that pop up that might make us feel a certain way. And we push past those, just like we push past strength training or sprints. Physical, we tell ourselves one more. But mental, we oftentimes psych our own selves out. I'm not going to keep going down this route. I'm struggling deep down. I'm not going to try to figure out the reason why. But you got to push yourself. And a lot of this doesn't happen through it just being in the mind. You want to know what's happening inside your brain? Write it down. What better way to understand yourself than to write it down? I'm currently working on a book project. Actually, I have two that I'm working on. One of them is pretty much completely finished. And it's about 80 pages, 36,000 words. And those are all words that came directly from my brain. Output. The thing is, and now, how do we get the brain to be able to promote more output? Well, we got to give it input. The brain is like a computer software unit. Everything that we consume is getting stored in the mind. So think, it's not just, we think consumption, we think like eating, or we think consumer, purchasing something. Consumption is coming in the form of books, reading, in conversations that we have, in things that we listen to, or TV shows that we watch, or movies that we see, things that we read. I think I said that. But all things that we are consuming as input get stored in the mind. things that you say to yourself get stored in the mind. And it doesn't go anywhere. It's all in there. Just chilling. But then the only way we could really see what's happening in there is to write it down. And I think one of the most important mind practices for a human being is writing. And I think that we've all been taken back by writing, and maybe it was due to our experiences once upon a time where like maybe we were writing an English class and we put our heart and soul into something and we got a bad grade for it. Or maybe we wrote someone a love note or a love letter, or we expressed ourselves deeply to someone and we didn't get the reaction that we wanted to. Different things like that. Or maybe we just don't know exactly where to start. So we have this fear of like, how do I push past this? I don't know what to write. You just write. You just write, you write, you write. Whatever first pops up into your mind, boom. Put it down on a sheet of paper. And then from there, all of a sudden, thoughts just start to spew out onto that sheet. And when they're finished being spewed out, now you can read them. And it's slowed down. That's one thing too, like your brain, like a CPU, is running so fast all the time. It runs so fast. There's so many thoughts that are happening. And if you're speaking, even more. So being able to write down the thought on a sheet of paper, it allows you to take it one word at a time. And I think that that's the foundation of training the mind. Imagine you thought of every single word, every single sentence as if it was a rep or a set at the gym. And you keep piling those reps on top of each other. It also builds communication and being able to piece sentences together. This is stuff like when I was younger, I definitely did not appreciate the art of writing at all. I always felt like writing was a task that I must do for school. Oh, I have to do this. Now I look at it as something fun and enjoyable. Oh wow, I get to learn more about myself. And you can improve that internal dialogue, your ability to speak to oneself. You have that internal conversation and you have external conversations. Traditionally, the more positive you speak to your internal self, the more positive you're going to go speak to another person. But there's also some people in the world that will speak so positively to another person and caring and kind, and then speak like crap to themselves. If you're one of those people, why are you doing that? You deserve so much more than to be talking negatively to yourself, especially if you're giving positive to everybody else. If you're a teacher and you're going to school and you're teaching children all day, being a positive influence, and then you're going home and talking to yourself negatively. If you're a therapist and you're listening to other people all day long, giving them guidance and support, and then you go home and you speak to yourself negatively. If you're a nurse and you're taking care of people, and then you go home and you're being rude to yourself and you're not taking care of yourself. I reference this all the time. It's extremely important. Let's say I had a cup of water and we work with people. You have to spill some water on yourself so that then you could give to other people. It can't just be give, not give to yourself. Over time, that's going to wear you down. It's going to make you unhappy. And it's not selfish to put your mind first. That's our ultimate goal in this world. It's not to go work our 9-to-5 jobs or be a parent or be an athlete. It's to master oneself so that you could then have joy in things that you are doing within this world. And you could be a positive influence to not only yourself, but then to other people within your circle. That's all I got for you for today's episode. If you like this episode, please share it on your Instagram stories and tag me in it, Coach Jake Murphy. I'm going to be putting these videos out once a week. And my goal for these videos is to grow together as individuals. Talk about different topics that maybe people are struggling with or new to, so that we could then grow.